Hey guys, what is up? xPlagueSpores here. Today we are bringing a Let's Talk League of Legends video featuring Azir top. Yes, that is right. I am playing Azir top and against a Sion top, which if you did not know this, Azir counters Sion hardcore. If you see Azir top lane, don't go Sion. Just don't do it. I'll be talking about Azir in all the capacity, why he's good, why he's not good, when to use him, when not to use him, what lanes, and the big underestimation of like his power and how he can really affect the team in team fights. So with Azir, you have to start with his W to create a soldier. So Azir doesn't really get his first mini power spike until he hits level 2. Azir really needs to hit level 2 because then he gets a lot of poke because he can throw his soldiers through people, dealing damage. Now Azir top is actually pretty good. There's not a lot of champions that can really stop him. Maybe Chase, maybe, but really, it's, like you see here, it's just you keep on poking him from a distance. Once you're level 2. So the thing to note, you do need 110 mana to do your combo of putting a soldier down and Q. So you gotta watch your mana in the beginning. So he has excellent wave clear, excellent pushing potential because his W can be used on turrets as well. Now the reason why he's so good against Sion, as well as any melee champion, is because of that poke. They can't get near you, but you can just poke them as a farm. So they have to make that choice, whether to farm and take the damage, take the poke, or to sit back and let you push their turret and let you farm while they stay healthy. The only catch there is you have to wait and make sure you have it warded in the river so that way you don't get ganked. Now Azir is pretty good against avoiding ganks because he can always throw a soldier down, Q to send the soldier back towards his turret, and then uses E to jump to that soldier. Why Sion especially is pretty bad against Sion, because Sion has like one of the only real ways to stop, Azir has one of the only real ways to stop Sion's ult. So Sion's ult, as he charges that, he's immune to all kinds of stuff. But guess what he's not immune to? Azir's wall. You see Sion charging, you throw your ultimate out at him, it will stop him cold in his tracks. Not only that, but it will stun him because he runs into a wall. So you use this to your advantage. If you don't need it to kill him, you kill him. You can also use your wall to block his passive. So what you do is you put your wall out, and guess what? He has to run around your wall to get to you. What happens when he runs around? You run back through. It gives you a speed boost. And that's the same with any melee champion. So you're against a Riven. Okay, that Riven's going in on you. Throw out your wall, kite back and forth between your wall, make her run around the wall. As you can see here, Sion cannot handle the poke. It was just too great. And this is why Azir is a really good mid laner. This is why he's a really good top laner. And really good support in bottom lane. That bottom lane poke for your ADC, they are not going to be farming. And your ADC will be farming. And once you have your ult, you can set your ADC up pretty nicely. You poke them down low with your soldiers and your Q, and then when you're ready, you send a soldier out with your Q, E to it, knocks them up, then you just flash behind them and wall them back to your ADC. Easy kills. A lot of people talk negatively towards Azir, and that's just because a lot of people do not know how to play Azir, because he's just like no other champion. As you can see here, I did the basic combo where I put a soldier down, Q, and an E to jump to it and knock Sion up. He had to use his flash to get away. What happens if he stayed? I'd poke him even more. If he starts running, I throw another soldier down. Rinse and repeat. But so many people think Azir is a bad champion. Azir is not a bad champion. There's no such thing as a bad champion, just players who do not know how to play champions. I don't believe in bad champions. Every champion has a purpose. Every champion has, its positives and its negatives. You just need to find the positives, and you need to find a play style to match that champion's style. If you can't do it, you shouldn't be playing that champion. But if you see somebody playing a champion, don't just assume that they are bad based on that champion, because you could be surprised. One of the biggest mistakes I see people with Azir is people, they just see YouTube videos out there and all kinds of videos how people build, and they're recommended, and they think, just build Azir just straight AP. That's wrong. Why is that wrong? You cannot take all AP runes and masteries. You cannot take all AP based items. The reason being is Azir gets his power spikes from items. He's a very item dependent champion. And that's why it is very important, and I recommend always to have utility masteries. You could take the AP runes, the mana regen runes, what have you, but for masteries, take utility tree. Get the extra gold, get the, if you're support, get the experience, but get the extra gold and all that. The mana, the extra percentage mana, maximum mana, guess what? That really helps if you build into some of the items here. But if you really build into the Archangel staff, that extra mana is huge for your shield. So I recommend building Nazir's Tooth, because yes, we all know it gives an insane boost to his power. But I don't rush that. And you'll see how I play the game. I got Stinger first for that extra bit of damage. I don't even know if I rushed at this game or not. I just got Stinger, I got Tear. Tear is the most important thing to get right away to help with your mana and start stacking that up. So what you do not want to do as Azir, you do not want to max your W. That is last. People max it first. No. Especially now that they nerfed Azir and made soldiers do less damage. They scale less and they do less damage. Max that Q, because that's where the damage is. Max your E, because that's where the damage is. Yes, your soldiers do damage, but your W does not help you with anything like that. Their damage scales off your AP, not off the W. The W will help you put out soldiers faster. Great. But you know what? Your Q and your E is where your shield and your damage comes from. Those are your utility spells, and you're a utility champ. You have to max your Q. Cannot say it enough. You max your Q. You leave the 1 in the W and max that last. Your R is second to last. You put 1.8 and max everything else out, because your R is really just there to defend, to protect, to block an escaping champion. And I'm pretty sure you will see that a couple of times this game where I used R defensively and offensively. And it takes a while to get used to it, to use it offensively, just because it has a very short range. Now, one place that your ultimate really shines is in the jungle, during team fights in the jungle, because it can block off the entire path for an enemy team, which allows your team to kite back and forth through your wall, getting speed boosts. So this game I actually played with a couple friends on my team. Had a Twisted Fate support and a Ziggs mid with my friends here. And as you can see, again and again, Sion cannot farm. If he tries to farm, he will die. Enough said. I don't even have to take Ignite. Against melee like this, think about Nasus. Nasus top, unless it's an AP Nasus, they can farm from, far off. Even then, I have such a long poke that I can take care of them. Nasus is easy, Tryndamere easy. Any of those top laners, even Jace, you can jump out of the the long-range shots from Jace and avoid them using your E. And you're gonna take him out with your poke, extreme poke. So I do take Twin Shadows because this is a utility build. So I take Archangel Staff and Twin Shadows. Last item, I usually get Rylai's or I get Zhonya's. It depends on the situation. Occasionally, I've even gotten the banner, the command banner, whatever it is, the siege banner, and just turns the siege minions into just monsters. Why is that great? Because I already have great poke potential and laning potential, and you add a super minion to that. Best way to use that now is if against a AP-based champion, you wait for that AP-based champion to go in on you, and then you promote him. Because he will be immune to AP magic for a while, magic damage. As you can see here, Twitch was pushing in, and I didn't want him to get the bottom turret, so I teleported in, did a good chunk of his life, and saved the turret. Now, as you can see, even with a Nid and a Twitch, no match for your lane potential. They just can't take it. And this is why you max your Q and your E first. That's where the most of your damage comes from. I mean, so much potential for damage and utility. So I misplayed there by walling. I walled too late and a little to the left. I was hoping to cast that fast enough to block Hecarim in with us. So we're going to come here mid, see what we can do. Look at the damage. So I die here because I was too greedy. And what does Amumu do? He's too greedy too. But that's okay. We all get a little greedy sometimes. Especially after I've been laning against Sion. It's been such an easy lane. It's pretty easy to get greedy like that. So one thing to note with the Azir support, it's very tough to know when to go in. It's very tough to know how to get your ADC kills because you have so much poke damage. It's hard to know when to back off from the enemy to keep them in lane. A lot of times what will happen is your ADC will not get fed. They will have a great farm. They won't get fed because you will poke and bully the ADC and support out of lane time and time again. So you have to learn the balance of when to pull back, and then you coordinate with your ADC when to go in, and you try to block them in. I apologize for the phone going off in the background if you can hear that. So here it looks like they're going for a dragon, but it actually looks like they're going mid instead. Nothing we can do about Ziggs, but we can defend this turret. Azir can always defend turrets. You will make the enemy teams cry when you're at a turret. So what happens at a turret? Enemy team dives you. You can wall them off. You can go ahead and throw your soldiers through them in an E so it knocks them up. What happens when they destroy the turret and you're there? You place one down with your passive. People underestimate the passive of Azir as well as everything else with Azir. You can defend against multiple enemy champions with your turret or any other turret. If you play Azir correctly and use calculated decisions, you will not have issues. And it's as simple as that. It's all about timing, and it's all about map awareness knowing where the enemy is, knowing where your allies are, and where the placement of your soldiers should go. As you see here, I go in because of the Mumu ultimate. And we're able to pick up 3 kills and force the flash. Now we be careful here because there's no minions. So now we have minions, and we can see the push potential of Azir. Just watch how fast Azir can actually take out turrets. Use a W on her, bam, chunk of health gone, another chunk. So if you have allies helping you attack the turret, you can take them down like they're nothing. So we're going to go ahead, use the advantage, and we're going to take Dragon. You have to recognize when you win a team fight like that, you have to take objectives. Always take objectives. Do not chase down people. It's not worth it, trust me. Just take the objectives, and you will win. So here, off that team fight, we were able to get a turret and a dragon. And now we're going to get a bunch of more other kills. I did die here, but it was a 3-for-1. So I did build Nazir's Tooth, gave me a definite damage boost.
Shut down. Your turret has been destroyed.
Okay, something to note with this build versus the AP build. This build has more all-in potential than the full AP build, and it has more chasing potential. Azir is already pretty good at chasing you down by jumping to his soldiers, but he is kind of slow. To take that disadvantage turn to advantage, that's why I get the Twin Shadows, to slow my enemies down. That also helps in group fights. Also helps if you get them underneath your turret and your soldiers. It's just all around good item on Azir. Likewise, I have my Archangel Staff, and when that transforms, I have a nice shield because of all the percentage maximum increase I have. Now I'm gonna die here most likely, yep, because I was not able to get my turret down fast enough. And there are 3 of them. I didn't realize how low our turret was, but Twisted Fate should be able to pick up a kill. But it looks like it was just an even trade for Twisted Fate. You should always have plenty of farm as Azir. If you don't have good farm, you're doing something wrong. Because between your passive and all your soldiers clearing waves, it's easy to get farm. One thing about Azir that you need to always be focused on is pushing. Pushing, pushing, pushing. So I see that they're pushing mid here, so I'm going to come here and go ahead and just clear the wave. So it's not about getting the kill at that point, it's about saving this turret, because if I can do that, we are still at an advantage. They still have to take out this turret. Clearing minion waves gives my team time to group up. This game we actually do end up getting 5 dragons, so you can see the power of the new system and getting 5 dragon buffs. It is actually insane, and if you ever lose when you have all 5 dragon buffs, yeah, there's something wrong with you, because we just erase turrets, inhibitors, and the Nexus.
There is no future without Shuri.
Once you have, it's a little unfair, and in all honesty, it should not be a permanent thing. It should definitely be a time-based buff. It should almost be like the red buff and blue buff, where you get it for 2 minutes. Each time you get one of the buffs, you get it for 2 minutes. And they still stack. That's just my opinion, because once you do get 5, it's a little extreme. It really is.
We are the authors of history.
As you see here, they're pushing mid, but we're going to go ahead and take out this turret real quick. Let them have mid turret.
None know the will of the desert better than I.
So I'm going to go ahead and steal their red since they're concentrating in the mid.
And Shuri must die. Dare oppose me?
Looks like Ziggs is using his ult to clear that wave.
Your emperor shall return.
When you play Azir, you have to kind of just pick him and ignore everyone, and you will get people dodging, and you will get people trolling you because they just think Azir is that bad. But with practice, Azir can be one of your best champions in your arsenal of champions. He can be that one go-to champion that is just really well equipped against a lot of other champions. So don't be afraid to pick Azir because everybody else is saying he's bad, don't pick him, no. And especially like ADCs, I have not had one ADC that once
We are made.
I pick Azir, they love me. They trash talk me in the lobby, they say don't do it, they say I'm a troll, and then guess what? Every time after the game, they'll always eat their words. Okay, I think this team fight you're going to be able to see some of the power to turn things around. So I'm going to make this turret, and I'm going to go in here. So I flashed out, dodge a Scion ult, and just keep on poking. This allows my team to actually turn it around, the amount of damage I do to their team. Like, go ahead and wall, not to actually deal damage or to prevent them from getting to us. I put the wall out to give my entire team a speed boost by running through it. So we're going to go ahead and take advantage of this team fight, and we are going to get our second dragon. So you should not build the Archangel staff until you have the stacks on the tier. It's a waste of resources. I mean, I cannot stress that enough. Do not build. That should be like one of your last items once you have the 750 stacks. If you're building it before other items and you don't have the 750 stacks, it's a wasted slot. It really is. I mean, you don't get the full potential of that item until you get 750 stacks, so wait until you're close. It's okay, you know, if you're at, say, 740, 730 even, you know, that's fine, get it, because you know you're going to be getting the full stack soon and transforming. But don't do it if you're nowhere near. If you're nowhere near 750, just build your other items. They will serve you better early on. So this game, I actually just turned Azir into a lane pushing beast. He's already naturally really, really good at pushing lanes. And then I got the banner command, and then I got the potion that allows all the minions to do extra damage. On top of that, we had the dragon buff, which allows minions to do extra damage to turrets. So when I'm with minions, they are going to be doing a lot of damage to the turret. I can promote the siege, do even more damage, and give me all the gold. I can use my W to almost like smite the turret for even more damage. So I go ahead and promote the siege minion here. And he has that extra resist. And you can see I can just keep on pushing up, throwing my soldiers further and further up, and all they can do is retreat. So it looks like up top, having trouble.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
It's okay, we're gonna go ahead and recall here. And we should be heading top. But at that point, it looks like Twisted Fate. It's already there. So is Ziggs. This team was just really meshing well. I mean, you can always tell when a team just works out. Everything just comes together. The communication is great. It did help that 3 of us were in the same room as each other, able to communicate. But even so, the rest of the teammates, the other 2 people, they were not in a room. They just, you know, they were there. They knew what to do. They were taking advantages. If you notice here, I see Niz getting away, so I teleport to our ward up ahead of her, realized I wouldn't have enough time to stop her, and so what I did is I immediately put a soldier down, jumped to it, and walled her back into my allies, taking her from full health to 0 almost instantly. So you gotta remember, you are not a tank, but you do have that shield when you use your E if you hit somebody. So that comes into play where you really have to determine when to go in, when not to go in. Whenever you see a team fight about to take off around an empty turret, a destroyed turret, go ahead and create one. It gives you guys a fallback point, if anything. So like if the team fight starts going sour, you guys can fall back to your turret for defense. I believe here I outstay. I should have backed off a lot sooner than that. Because there was no reason I was not really going to be accomplishing anything with my turret so low and myself being so low in health. So best in that situation, just back, get your health back, and start again. Just keep pushing that lane. So as you can see, I do have the twin shadows now, and I think I'm going to be picking up another potion for pushing. A lot of times I end up with 3 to 4 activated items on Azir. So you do have to be comfortable when you build a utility to be able to use multiple items and their activated abilities. A lot of times it's uncomfortable to reach for certain numbers, like 1 through 7, but you're going to need at least 3 to be successful. So here Nude's chasing me, I dodge a spear and manage to get away.
Killing spree.
That was just a bit of luck. Miss aim on her part. Dragon is up, so I'm going to start trying to get my team over to the dragon to get our third dragon. So they have vision, but there's not much they can do. So I'm very low, so I'm going to hang in the back. Just poke my soldiers. And there's our third dragon of the game. And with the dragon, if you can get all 5, I definitely think that's way better than getting Baron. Getting Baron is tough, but I believe it all comes down to this dragon now. You need control over the dragon pit. The more dragons you get, the easier it becomes to win the game. The Baron definitely helps with pushing, but that's pretty much it. The dragon buff permanent, and you're going to be good at pushing, team fights, you name it. You're going to be good. So I went ahead and walled them back to our team so they couldn't escape. And I can run through the wall here so Sion can't get to me. And then I'm just going to keep running from him. And then I see my E's up, so I just run back into him. I create a turret because I saw somebody teleporting in. And this keeps us pushing forward. So I can just run up here. If I have my W, I can just run up here and probably take out the turret. Now I can't because I'm a little too low. So when you build AP Azir, you definitely have to get Zonias. You are not as equipped as this utility build. You're a little more squishy, and everything else is the same. It's you're more of a glass cannon, and Azir, I do not believe Azir is really meant to be a glass cannon with his E, how his E causes him to jump right into the combat. So you need the utility for the Zonias, or in this case I have the banner, but Zonias, you have the Twin Shadows for the slows, and you have your Archangel Staff, which will give you a shield once it transforms. The shield from the Archangel Staff, coupled with your E, provides a ton of defense. So as you see here, I see that my team's being ganked in our jungle. So, but I also see that top Twisted Fate's pushing in. So instead of helping my team that are dying in our jungle, I teleport to Twisted Fate because objectives are worth more than champion kills. So we're able to get a turret and an inhibitor off of this, all because they decided to chase our team into our jungle for kills. Kills do help, don't get me wrong. They help you get gold. They help you build your full build quicker. But at the same time, it does not win the game. I'm going to go ahead and steal their blue. And I'm going to go ahead and get back to base. But instead I decide I see my team coming up mid, so I just go ahead and meet them there since I'm full health. And here I saw on the minimap that Hecarim was going to farm his wolves. So I knew he was there, so I threw a soldier over the wall, jumped to it, knocking him up, and when he tried to escape, I walled, so blocking his passageway. Now he can run the other way, but it's already too late at that point. I'm dealing so much damage, and I'm able to Q and E to him again. Azir is a great split pusher when he's top and has teleport. He can easily take advantage of minion waves and pushing turrets. He can be attacking one turret as soon as somebody from the enemy team starts focusing. He can then teleport to a different lane, push that turret. He can easily avoid people, so if he's at their turret and they're coming in on him, instead of running straight back to the lane, which they can easily just catch up to him. If he has his ult, he can just wall them and keep running. If not, he can always send a soldier over the wall into their jungle and hop over the wall. His soldiers give him very good evade. From the knockups to jumping over walls to stealing buffs. I mean, his soldiers are the key. If you can correctly navigate his soldiers, there's not much you can't do with Azir. The only one champion I would say look out for is Ziggs, because Ziggs' long poke. If you play Azir enough, you can even play against Ziggs. It's still tough, but it's still doable. So I'm going to go ahead and just run, but it looks like I'm being collapsed on. There's not going to be much I can do there with the Hecarim. But at the same time, my team, they were able to get an objective while they were all focusing me. So we now have our 4th dragon. And because they were distracted with me, chasing me, we were able to get the dragon and then just dominate their team. Twitch tried to like backdoor and get an inhib just to even it up some, but you can't really do that with the full enemy team coming at you. Meanwhile, Twisted Fate is continuing the push. We have minions pushing mid, Twisted Fate trying to get that top lane pushed in. I'm going to go ahead and quickly take the buff for myself. So I do see a nid top, but there's nothing going on, and Twisted Fate's a bit deep, so I just keep farming here. So we have vision. We know they're not going for objectives. So even though we don't have wards, which we should have wards out, we still have enough vision from our allies and our minions that we could tell where the enemy is, or what they're going for and what they're not going for. So this Mumu did exactly what you do not want to do against Sarah. You do not want to run in a straight line when he ults and tries to hit you with those little mortar shots. You want to kind of zigzag, weave in and out.
An enemy has been slain.
This Scion does seem a little new to the champion, because his ults, he does make, you know, the mistake that a lot of people make with Scion, ulting, running into walls, stuff like that. See, this Graves does a good job baiting, keeping the Scion here. While I come up, I'm able to come around, slow him down, and then able to knock him up and wall him back. This poor Scion can't really do much. He tried ulting to get away, but unfortunately my wall does stop his ult. Just remember that if you're a Scion against an Azir in a game. If Azir throws his wall up, you cannot ult through it. You will get stunned from running into a wall. So we see Hecarim here on the side in the jungle. So Mumu actually goes in on him. Stuns him because he realizes he's going to die. And then jukes him by going back over the wall. So I show myself just a little bit, see if they chase. Which I don't know what they do, but they're slow about chasing a Mumu. But the mummy does get away. So the dragon is up. And this is when we're able to do our final push. And you get to see how insane getting the 5th dragon is.
The power of the sun lives in Shurima.
This poor Nid went the wrong way. She went to the bush where my soldier was. So team fight is forming in the mid lane. So they immediately run away because they realize that they're just all going to die once Zero dies. And we're going to take advantage of this and go get our 5th dragon. Now that we have our 5th dragon, we see no reason not to go get the Baron buff to end the game even quicker. And watch how easily we can do this with the dragon, 5 times dragon. Look at our health. Like, doing the Baron. We didn't really take any damage. So we're able to just run up. And just destroy them. And there's not much they can do, because they just die almost instantly to us. So we're able to just keep going and watch how fast these turrets go down. Look at this. Watch this one. Instantly almost. With that dragon, 5 times dragon buff, it is just ridiculous how much damage you do. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about Azir, please let me know. As always, like the comment. Until next time, I'm xPlagueSpores. Thanks, guys, for watching.